Tonight, our special transmission as experts say the US's push for TikTok's ban is aimed to curb pro-Palestinian content. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Humaira Karodia. Today is the 164th day since Israel started its war on Palestine. Palestinian Health Ministry reports in the last 24 hours, Israeli forces have killed 93 Palestinians in Gaza. 142 have been injured. Israeli airstrikes have targeted the Yarmouk neighborhood in Gaza. It is a densely populated residential area. Israeli forces have withdrawn from Al-Shifa medical complex, leaving the hospital disintegrated. Nearly 150 people have been detained from the hospital. During the raid, at least 20 civilians were killed. The casualties include a top Palestinian police official who had been coordinating the aid delivery. The Israeli military says it has killed over 50 fighters during operations at Al-Shifa hospital. Palestinian Foreign Ministry condemns Israeli bombardments in Rafah. Al Jazeera journalist Ismail Al-Ghul was released after being severely beaten and detained by Israeli forces. Rula Hassanein, another Palestinian journalist, has been arrested in Ramallah. This brings the total number of detained journalists to nearly 60. Israeli media reports Israel and Hamas are engaged in indirect talks in Qatar. But a Qatari foreign ministry spokesman says Mossad chief David Barneu, who was leading the Israeli delegation, has left Qatar. The death toll from Israel's war is astonishing. At the time of writing, at least 31,819 Palestinians have been killed. Another 8,000 are presumed dead under the rubble. 73,934 Palestinians have been injured. The Israeli military says 251 soldiers have died since its ground invasion in Gaza. In a strong warning, U.S. President Biden has cautioned Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu against invading Rafah in southern Gaza. Biden says there is a need for a comprehensive strategy to tackle Hamas. The White House has expressed concern that a ground operation in Rafah would exacerbate the humanitarian crisis and international isolation for Israel. Biden is urging Netanyahu to send a delegation to Washington to discuss potential invasion concerns. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says Biden is calling a potential major assault on Rafah a mistake. He says Palestinians in Rafah have nowhere else to go, as Gaza's other cities have been largely destroyed. The U.S. is criticizing Israel's lack of a clear military, humanitarian, and political plan. Biden is condemning Netanyahu for not leveraging its influence to end the war in Gaza. Last week, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a staunch Israeli supporter, described Netanyahu as an obstacle to peace. China has reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining relations with Hamas, considering it integral to the Palestinian national identity. The news comes after the Chinese envoy, Chinese ambassador to Qatar, and the head of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, met in Qatar. The Chinese envoy has expressed the country's unwavering support for Palestinian freedom, independence, and statehood. A statement issued by Hamas says the Chinese envoy is calling for a halt to the violence and providing urgent humanitarian aid. Haniyeh says that there is an urgent need to end aggression, return displaced Palestinians, and realize political goals. He says these goals include a separate Palestinian statehood with Jerusalem as the capital. He lauds China's support role in international forums and its humanitarian aid to Gaza. Experts are calling the U.S. Congress's decision to ban the social media platform TikTok an attempt to curb pro-Palestinian content. A recent passed bill says TikTok must be sold to an American company or face a ban in the US. Previously, it was believed that the push for the ban was in place due to the Chinese ownership of the platform. However, leaked recordings show the push for the ban is linked to pro-Israeli interests. In one of the leaked recordings, Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the pro-Israel Anti-Defamation League, can be heard saying that TikTok is a problem. The Wall Street Journal reports that there is anger over TikTok videos showing Palestinian trauma. Critics say that the goal is not to ban TikTok entirely, but rather to facilitate its acquisition by pro-Israeli entities. Media reports show former U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is putting together an investor group to purchase TikTok. The House of Commons has passed a revised new democratic motion that no longer calls for the federal government to officially recognize the Palestinian state. The motion was revised by the Liberals. The softened language now advocates for the establishment of the State of Palestine as part of a two-state solution. The revised version calls for recognizing Hamas as a terrorist organization and emphasizes Israel's right to self-defense. It also calls on Hamas to release all the hostages and lay down its arms. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly defends the amendments, citing issues with the original motion. The NDP says that the original motion angered some Jewish communities. However, the party leader Jagmeet Singh says that they have been victorious in forcing the Liberals to stop further transfer of arms to Israel, to support both the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice, and to place sanctions on extremist settlers. The UK government has pledged over £117 million over 4 years to safeguard mosques, Muslim schools, and community centres from hate crimes. Home Secretary James Cleverly says it is very important to provide reassurance to British Muslims amidst rising tensions fueled by Israel's war on Palestine. Funds will be utilized for security measures like CCTV alarms and fencing. This initiative aims to combat anti-Muslim abuse and hate crimes. The move follows Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's announcement last month allocating £70 million for Jewish communities over the next 4 years. Ranson Public School in London, Ontario is accommodating fasting students this Ramadan by providing designated prayer spaces. About 80% of the students in the school are Muslim. Principal Greg Moore says the school is committed to provide support to Muslim students and ensure understanding from teachers. Principal Moore stresses the importance of compassion and inclusivity, aiming to make fasting students feel valued and comfortable. The school's approach fosters a sense of belonging and support for its Muslim students. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.